What's up YouTube? It's me again, your friendly neighborhood fish keeper. Today I'm going to talk about cichlid behavior, especially pair behavior, and how you can tell whether or not you have a pair of cichlids. And of course, if you want me to, leave it in the comments, and I'll definitely make a more expanded video of this, because fish behavior and animal behavior is truly my passion. I mean, I could talk about this for hours. I won't do it today, but I could definitely go into more depth if you want more information. But to keep it simple, I'm going to explain it like this. When it comes to cichlid behavior, American cichlid behavior, because that's where I'm focused, there are two options. There are two cards that an American cichlid can play in any given situation, and that is fight or flight. The fish can either run away or stand its ground. If one fish goes at another fish and the other fish runs away, you don't have a pair. The only way that you would have a pair is if one fish went up to the other fish, a member of the same species, one's male, one's female, and the other fish stood its ground. So let's see if I can see that? Oh, no, that's aggressive behavior. That's simultaneous aggressive behavior against that Pearlscale cichlid, which is so lucky that we got this on film. If your fish are doing that, if they're swimming together and sizing up a different fish, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, you guys saw that? Like, oh my god. What are the odds I got that on film? That was, if your fish are doing that, you have a pair. Not only do you have a pair, you're probably going to have to spawn in like a couple of days. You should consider yourself unbelievably lucky to see that, to witness that. And if you get it on film, get it on YouTube. Get it on the internet, because people like me love to watch that stuff. But yeah, see how they're swimming together. See how they're kind of sticking together. There's no aggression between them, but there is flaring. So remember I said earlier, there are two options. There's fight or flight. If your fish flee, you don't have a pair. If your fish stand their ground, like if one fish flares at the other and the other fish flares back, there are two options. Fish can flare to not fight, or they can flare to fight. A flare to fight looks like one fish flaring at another, pointing out its fins, trying to look as big as possible. Kind of like that, except that the fish's mouth is pointed at the fish that it's flaring to. See how when he flared at her, his mouth was facing away from her? Fish fight with their mouths. That's the only weapon most fish have at their disposal, especially American cichlids. I can't think of a single American cichlid that has any weapon other than its mouth to fight with. So when fish fight, they fight with their mouths. If a fish is flaring at another fish and its mouth is pointed at that fish, it's aggressive behavior. Excuse me. There are some larger species that do lip lock before they spawn, and there will be aggression prior to spawning to truly determine just how strong each member of the pair is. Females will size up males like that, and in that case, you're going to want a more in-depth video. But salvinis typically don't do that. Maybe if you have two fish that are practically the same size, but I've spawned salvinis that are practically the same size. I've never had them do that. Never had convicts do that. Never had fiery mouths do that. I would imagine that a larger species or ridiculously aggressive species might do that. Like if you had a pair of flower horns that were the same size, I could see them lip lock before spawning. But with salvinis, if you have lip locking, you probably won't have a pair. But yeah, it tends to work better when the male is larger than the female. That's first off. But then also to sex salvinis, the female will have a black splotch in her dorsal fin like the fish in the foreground does here. You see the male lacks that. Also, female salvinis tend to have redder bellies, but that's hit or miss. Some female salvinis just don't have red bellies. With convicts, the females will have pinker bellies. It's a little harder to see because it's a pink convict, but you can see that she has some clearly like orangish pigmentation on her belly. God, what a gorgeous pair of fish. So yeah, if you have lip locking, you probably don't have a pair. If you have aggression or flaring with mouths facing one another, you probably don't have a pair. But if you have a cooperative attack against another fish by two fish of the same species, and if you can identify male and female, you probably have a pair. If you have any of the flaring that you've seen out of this male salvini, where they're tail slapping, so they're pushing water at the other fish, and they're trying to stretch out their fins as big as possible, make themselves look as big as possible, but they're not fighting from it. They're not pointing their mouths at the other fish. then you probably have a pair either forming or established. And lastly, if they're, you know, sharing a cave, going in and out of the same cave or set of caves together, or if they're, you know, digging a hole, digging a cave for themselves, either in the sand or in the gravel or whatever, then you probably have a pair. And especially if you see the fish cleaning a surface, like that is undeniable pair behavior. That said, if he did that and she swam away, and he did it a couple more times and she consistently swam away, you wouldn't have a pair. That used to happen with this pair. It took a while for her to get established in the tank, maybe about a week. But once she did get established, they paired up, which is the behavior you see here now. So yeah, if you have any other questions, want a more in-depth video, please do not hesitate to leave it in the comments. If you like this video, if you learned something new, please let me know. That's why I make this, because I've spent so many hours of my life watching these fish, and if I could share some of that, some of what I learned through my observation with you guys, then I'll feel like I, you know, contributed to the hobby in a little way. So thanks for watching. Remember to do your water changes. Don't forget to feed your fish. Take care, tank on, and remember, fish keeping is not a science, it is an art. Take care.